Okay, welcome to the third example video on garbled reasoning. So here I'm going to be talking about this example. So here we have for the patient gains the passive affection solely because the agent acts upon it, not for any other reason. For instance, if a person, the agent, carries a book, the book gains the passive affection of becoming a thing carried only because the person is carrying it. Socrates then establishes that the pious is being loved by the gods because it is pious. On the other hand, the God loved is something God loved because it is being loved by all the gods. Okay, so what's going on here? How can we make this better? Well, one thing that jumps out to me off the bat is that in this passage, the transition between the claims is kind of weak, right? I mean, we've kind of got one claim and then another claim and then another claim and then another claim. And it's not entirely clear what the relationship is between them. I mean, the transition to 5 is okay because, well, it's saying for instance, right? So 4 gives us the general principle: the patient gains the passive affection solely because the agent acts upon it, not for any other reason. Not for any reason, that doesn't add that much, but so the substance is here in the first part. And that's on the right track. And then for instance, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to get an instance of this general principle from 4. So that's a pretty good transition. So if the person, the agent, carries the book, the book gains the passive affection of becoming a thing carried only because the person is carrying it. Good, yeah, that seems like an instance of 4. But then 6 changes the topic entirely, and there's no transition at all, right? So we then get a completely different claim that seems unrelated to 5 and 4. Right, Socrates then establishes, I mean, okay, I mean, how does that doesn't help me relate 6 back to 5 and 4. It just seems like a totally unrelated new claim. And then 7 draws the conclusion of the passive affection part of the argument. So 7 then goes back to 4 and 5, right? And is an application of what's going on in 4 and 5 to the God loved, right? So on the other hand, the God loved is something loved because it is being loved by all the gods, right? So there's the agent, the gods, they're acting on the God loved, and they're what explains it's having the God loved. But that doesn't relate back to 6, right? So 6 is just kind of hanging out here, and it's not clear why it's there, right? 6 is totally unmotivated. Whereas 4, 5, and 7 all sort of hang together in a line of reasoning. And so if 6 and 7 were switched and a little more was said to connect 7 back to the general principle of 4, the line of reasoning in this passage would be a lot clearer, right? Okay, so that's what I want to say about this example.